Hey, what is up guys, Masterleaf here, back to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to cast a game that I played versus Panic the other day. Now it is one of my games that I'm going to be casting here on a map that you really don't see at all. It's going to be Tournament Apocalypse, and you can see down here I've got my scoreboard in the bottom left corner instead of that UI that's really not very useful in these sort of casts, I think. Anyway, I'm just going to do something real quick. I'm just going to go turn down this scroll speed because I know as a player having it too high, going back to casting can be a bit jarring for the viewer. So yeah, over on the left hand side we can see myself playing as the purple GDI vanilla. These were GDI versus Nod games. Over here Panic will be the vanilla Nod. This is running my 4K mod, so I'm going to say it here and now. It's running my 4K mod, and if you guys are interested in downloading and installing the 4K mod, then I'll leave a link in the video description down below. Also, stay tuned to my channel because I'm going to have an update for the 4K mod coming out soon, which has got a load of things in it that you may be interested in. It's also going to support R18, which is the next 1.02 plus patch update. It's the successor to R16. It's called R18 because Panda and a few others thought it would be confusing if it were called R17, because that's what the faction is, Reaper 17. But yeah, that's basically concluded by now. It's going to be called R18. Rifle Scout gets killed in the middle of the map. I did go for the EMP on this map here. You can see I got an engineer running towards that spike. I knew he was going to be Nod vanilla and have the slower scouts, so it wasn't really a risk for me to take that. There's a bunch of structures in the bottom to garrison. I'm just going to go over this map real quick. This map was made by Technique. It's a map you rarely see, I think because of how large it is, but this middle field is interesting. Is that even traversable there, that terrain? I don't think it is. Maybe Technique at one point thought it was going to be okay to traverse there. That's interesting. Maybe he put that in the middle there to kill aircraft or position maybe artillery units. That's something potentially to do in the future. But yeah, it's an interesting map layout. Technique definitely got a bit creative on this one. There's destructible bridges on either side, and of course it is difficult to get to this expansion here because of that reason. There is a slope here that you can go down with your War Factory reinforcements, but it is hard to respond if you do get too War Factory pushed and you go refiring first on this level. Not to mention the TIV field is also facing your opponent, so this makes aggressive strategies all the more attractive for the players. Tiberium fields that are blue are in either player's corner of the map. Very slow growing. And I am, of course, GDI over here. 4 harvesters for me. I don't recall exactly what I did in this game, but the reason why I wanted to cast this match is because I want to see what my opponent could have done differently on this map here. And my OBS level my OBS app is lagging quite a lot. Hopefully that's just the application and not the actual cast. It could be just the application itself. Yeah. So I did something what Drive did to me 2 days ago when I played him, though it was not very successful against Panic. Yeah, I went for an APC and a Pitbull to do a bit of pressure on his expansion, just to force out a bunch of stuff and make him overspend, but he didn't. Or rather, he did overspend, but the counter-attack is coming in hot from Panic, and I actually was in an awkward spot here because there's 4 or 5 tanks killing this harvester. There's nothing really here to stop them. And if a couple bikes rocked up here, it'd be really difficult to hold this back. And I think that's what Panic did as well. So harvesting off the line, but at least he's not actually killing my harvesters. I'll bring up the help bar so you all can see the micro harvesters being pulled. I actually wanted to kill the bikes because the damage output of those is significantly more than the Preds, the Scorpion tanks. I hold that off surprisingly well. Panic did go 2 War Factory, so he tried to counter-attack with a 2 War Factory push, was unsuccessful, though it did force off my harvesters. It wasn't harvesting for that amount of time. Panic only has a singular harvester on his expansion. He's still continuing to pump out those Scorpion tanks, a couple of units up in the top of the map. But I do have this area covered with Predator tanks. And of course these bikes won't really get anything done here either. Pred tanks for myself. Lots of them. You don't really see that many Preds unless you're going for like railguns. But I in this game decided to just spam more Predator tanks, because, you know, I do really unorthodox things. I think he did get this Harvester, but didn't want to commit perhaps because of the Harvester chain guns, which can kill the bikes, because those bikes are already on low health. This was an issue for me. I actually wasn't expecting Panic to take up to Dozer Blades, which gives Scorpion tanks 15% more armor. And he's going to push in here. I was actually in dire straits at the moment. I was going to lose this fight. And that's when I used my EMP. If you guys recall, I had the EMP captured in the bottom of the map. I was able to lock down these tanks. I'm trying to capitalize on this as much as I can. Remember, without that, I wouldn't have had the forces necessary. He would have been shooting my forces. Those tanks would have been dead long ago. He does pull back, so that EMP just saved me right there. Is he going for laser capacitors? I can't remember exactly if he did. By the way, guys, one of the additions in my 4K mod update will be the radar dish here, which I did make spin. So you can see, even with the missile in the silo, it will spin because it's a separate scripted draw here. So it's apart from this animation. It's a different thing entirely. Orca Strike coming in. This is just generated scout when you see players go for Orca Strikes, though I think I did go for the refinery. Sometimes you can kill a Harvester that's docking in the refinery with an Orca Strike. Players sometimes might not see it. Why would I build Shadow tanks? Oh, I think because I was expecting more Scorpion tanks, and a couple Shadow tanks missed in can do some sick splash damage, though they are extremely weak, so you want to really escort this with a couple of Preds. As you see, that's what I'm doing just here. Shadow tank in the back. Has really good range, but you have to force fire the ground to make use of that additional range. You can actually outrange obelisks with the Shadow tanks, if you guys didn't know. It's like a pseudo artillery unit, but the obelisk also has ability to be charged up with beam cannons, and for each beam cannon you get 10% more range, so it doesn't really matter anyways. The nod player can just make beam cannons, and that's no longer a thing. I did change the skin on my zone, my Shadowers here, as you see, where the player color is. That's going to be in my alt 4K texture mod, which I'm going to be posting alongside my update, so stay tuned for that. Should come in a week or two when I get the time to fully update it. And the fight will be heating up in the bottom of the map soon. Shadow tanks not very good at killing avatars. Those avatars are quite problematic for me. I'm surprised that he didn't equip beam cannons to these avatars. It's really, really underused, I think. A couple hammerheads for me. They have AP ammo now, so this is just going to be a nuisance for Panic. He's not going to be able to push out without stealth tanks. He did have... I don't know if he... Yeah, he went for laser capacitors after all, so he probably was thinking to go for more Scorpion tanks, but then changed his mind. Nonetheless, it's going to be helpful for him later on when he goes for Venoms, if he does go for them. Couple of pitfalls here, just going to go in the back of the base. One Scorp should be able to hold this back, especially those two wounded pits there. If he focus fires, you can kill probably both of them. I'm down here with my MCV, getting down the expansion. Panic's already here with a double refinery, so he's really ahead of me in this game. Both of us have been taking blue tip, though Panic has done less of a job at it. I think I kill his Harvester with the pitfalls. Bikes here without tip core, really not that good at killing aircraft. The description should really be changed to just killing like vehicles. Unless they have tip core, then that changes everything. But that was a waste from Panic. He does lose a couple bikes there. Tip core on its way. If he had kept those alive, that would have been much better for him. And I'm going in here with these hammerheads, just trying to focus down this tier 2. I'm trying to get some sort of counter attack happening here while I go for the zone troopers. As you can see, I just summoned in zone troopers with my zone trooper support power. This is something I like to do all the time. This is the reason that I sacked those hammerheads up there, was to distract Panic while I did this. And I also did some trick with these zone troopers. If you guys remember, I paused my zone trooper upgrade at 99% and unpaused it to get the extra shot off immediately afterwards, so you don't have... It basically becomes a new weapon, and when there's a new weapon, it fires immediately. So if you pause your scanner packs upgrade on 1.02 plus, you can shoot twice with the zone troopers instantly in the same moment of time. Harvesters being sniped. That was some bad rallying, by the way. I should have gone this way with them, but of course this is Harvesters. Not the brightest unit there is. I have really nothing to combat these Scorps. I had lost my Hammerheads, remember. I killed like 2 Harvesters at this field. The Zone Troopers still survive. You've still got 3 of them. They are immune to Tiberium exposure. And these Harvesters is basically all I have as far as economy goes. I do have 2 down here, but yeah, that's not really enough, is it? And Panic is stalling for funds. I did delay his eco a little bit down there. The Scorpion Standards could have gone in, but maybe he didn't want to... yeah, he didn't want to go in there because of the Hammerheads. I did put rifles in them, so those Scorp tanks would have been history. And he needs those to keep me on my toes. Zone Troopers being killed by the Venoms. This was really frustrating for me. Just this singular Venom here, killing my expensive units, and those are detecting stealth as well, and I also needed them to kill the stealth tanks. Stealth tanks obviously a problem. There's not much to really kill stealth tanks. I've got like every unit here besides the Mammoth tank will die to the stealth tanks pretty fast. The Venoms are even picking off those shadow tanks. That's just how little health they have. This one is poised to go heroic. It is elite. 1 Mammoth tank there, and look at those juicy Scorpion tanks. 1 shot away from being killed. That one there, which is elite, had to go. Would have been GG if I had not killed that. And these Mammoth tanks, you know, typically don't do too well against units, but when they're all on 1% health like that, they can be good without railguns. And yeah, stealth tanks completely destroying my jugs, but I actually got the most unbelievable shockwave artillery. And I did something that you guys have probably never seen before, and that is kill stealth tanks with juggernauts. I got the shockwave in. Most people would say, oh, Leaf, you just wasted your shockwave. But in that time there, I got 2 stealth tanks, and that was really worth it. And I even got this last one here by focus firing the ground with my Juggernaut. I was trying to predict where the stealth tank would go, so I focus fired the ground. Venom's out here. This is very frustrating for me. Scorpion tanks as well. This game is pretty wild, guys. This is why I wanted to cast it. And I don't know. I feel like my games versus Panic have been pretty good lately. Very unorthodox. Very different to what you traditionally see. Slingshots out for me. These obviously not that great unless I get tungsten, of which I am, I think. No, I didn't even begin researching it yet, but that's going to scare the Venoms back for now. Still got this EMP in the bottom. As you see, I've got the like the Tiberium silo skin on this EMP center. This is what they had in Tiberium Wars for the Alpha. And I wanted to get the perfect EMP by getting the Venoms and also EMPing the Scorpion tanks. This Mav tank though is basically all I have for defense. 1 tank there, not going to go down. That one will though. That Mav just saving me there. There is a thing here, Sonic Emitter, which could have protected my Harvesters, but that's basically my army currently. 1 Mammoth tank, which is hardly anything. I'm going back for Juggernauts because this game's probably going to go back into stuff like Avatars and Redeemers, and Jugs kill both of them very well because Avatars either stop and shoot. They can't shoot while moving, and that's when the Juggernauts are at their best against static targets. I think when you're a Skren, the packs are also good for that reason as well, because the packs are much better against targets that don't move, but not obviously have very good anti-air against planetary assault carriers. Now, he probably would have favored the engagement there if it had not been for the Mammoth tank. Does pull back. We both can't be throwing away units, so he's not going to take any chances. Marv comes out for me, and Panic momentarily will get his Redeemer out as well. So this game's going to become it's going to be the late game. And you guys later on are going to see an addition I added to my 4K mod with this Hand of Nod. I spent a while on it as well. Bit of micro here from me. I'm trying to kill these tanks. Dozer Blades, of course, do crush Zone Troopers. So once you got the Dozer Blade upgrade, you can crush basically anything besides Commandos. Commandos don't get crushed by those. And I went for a very unorthodox choice when it comes to Marv garrisons. Everyone likes to go for the Zone Troopers, but I decided to put rockets in this map because for 2 reasons. The rockets have the same range as the main gun, the triple-barreled sonic cannon, and also they one-shot kill the Venoms when you put 3 missiles in the Marv. So I was thinking maybe I could rely on this Marv for a bit of anti-air as well. And that's something the Zone Trooper Marv can't do as well. At maximum range, get that additional damage off with the rockets. The Zone Trooper Marv's only better if you can approach the units a bit more, but I wanted the kite on the edge, and if you just want a kite on the edge, the rockets are probably better. That's assuming you're only kiting with the Marv. And this does provide anti-air. I've got a repair pad in there as well. A couple Venoms here getting taken out by my slingshot. I was keeping an eye on this area just in case there was a couple stealth tanks. I wanted to kill the Venoms so I can get a Zone Trooper here to defend my harvesters against stealth tanks, because stealth tanks are amazing against... the Zone Troopers are amazing against stealth tanks. Rage Gen does fire off. Doesn't do too much. I do kill a harvester of mine, but I suppose he'll be happy about that as long as he can get out here alive. One shockwave comes down. I didn't use it on the Redeemer because I feel like I have my EMP recharged, but I do get 2 avatars, which is all that I really need to push this force back. Even though I didn't kill the Redeemer, the avatars are a lot easier targets to destroy and thin out this force a bit more. So this is what I did. Marv gets off a shot on that Venom, as you saw, takes out the Venom in 1 shot. And in the back here, I've got a couple Railgun Predator tanks. 4 or 5 Railgun Preds. This is why I purchased Railguns. Harvester being destroyed there by the stealth tank. So my eco's in dire straits. The Marv facing off against the Redeemer. I'm not sure if he'll win that fight. I do use the EMP, hoping to kill this Redeemer. But he does use the Rage, which means I'm likely unable to kill this. Mine drop comes down there on the Marv. If this Marv moves with those mines underneath it, it's just going to blow up instantly. So I was spamming S on my keyboard just to make sure that this wouldn't move. I'm even shooting this Marv with my own Juggernauts, but that's better than taking the damage it would have if the Marv had moved on that minefield. Predator tanks taking out the base. The Redeemer is really low on health. I've got this Marv, which is also low on health. Going to Marv some of this Tiberium there. And can I get this kill? Not quite. I'm actually shooting infantry. The stealth tank killing more of my harvesters. I was able to get it just about. That harvester almost dead. I beaconed my harvester accidentally. This was me just trying to find where my harvesters are. I wasn't intending to beacon. And here's what I was talking about when it came to the additions. I actually put the lanterns on my Hand of Nod. So when you've upgraded Confessors, you get the Secret Shrine lanterns in front of the Hand of Nods. And it was like that in the Tiberium Wars. Like, well, I saw one screenshot from early development where it was like that, and I decided it looked cool, and I wanted it in my game. Black Hand, get the orange glows instead on their Hand of Nod with Black Disciples. But I think it's just a cool little addition. There you go, there's another Hand of Nod there for you all to see. Let's turn off these health bars though, so we can get a better look at this battlefield. I do get another airfield out. This game is going to go on. 2 or 3 tanks down here, hoping to kill more harvesters. This field is really difficult to harvest from, as you've been seeing. Both of us have been trying to kill each other's harvesters this whole time. Rockets do eventually clear out that force. I do maintain my tech up here. I kept a sonic emitter around just in case those Scorpion tanks would make their way in. Yeah, these tanks are being chased back by this one Orca. These little trades here are going to matter in a game like this. And in such a low eco game, where both sides haven't got too much, every loss is a big deal. Marv can't shoot this because of that Tiberium crystal in the way. And I'm even going to get this Venom with my Marv. There you go. That rocket garrison paying off. Can't really push in because of this disruption tower. The Marv has a sensor upon it though, which can reveal a larger area and also detect stealth around it. So I can reverse before the Redeemer gets the chance to rage it. When the Redeemer rages, I can't give orders to the Marv, and what players like to do is they rage just to stop the Marv from being reversed so they can kill the Marv in the big engagement. Marv does kill a Juggernaut, which is unfortunate. I guess you could say the rockets are also good against the rage generator because it's outputting less damage. So you're less likely to kill your stuff with the Marv. But that time I did lose my Juggernaut. I killed all the Venoms, which I wanted to do just so I can get these Orcas in for some damage, and you don't really see orcas in this stage of the game, but against stealth tanks, against all these scorpion tanks, I thought it was a great idea. One more venom does appear, two actually, so these orcas will be going down. Redeemer and Marv both still alive. The Marv trying to take out these venoms. Look at that, I killed two there, and I'm even going to get a third one with this Marv, so all of the venoms fall. I did whiff the shockwave. So that little victory there is not as good as you thought because of the miss of the shockwave. So the Redeemer will escape once again. Harvester being pulled back. Scorpion tanks again trying to get into this base, trying to kill more of my harvesters. This is probably going to be destroyed. I am going to kill them actually with these orcas. So these orcas paying off. I've got hard points now, as you see. So we're like 15 minutes into this game. 20 minutes actually into this game, and I've just gotten hard points. There's orcas on the map. This Redeemer is going to be forced to pull back. Yeah, he's going to push that back there. The Armageddon Bomber does get destroyed, but this Marv is taking some sick damage. The Ration, as I said, stopping the Marv from being reverse moved. The Redeemer does fall, but this Marv as well, it will be going down. There's just too much infantry there. So both of us trade an epic unit. Venom's being taken out by the supersonic airstrike. That was necessary. There was no anti-air there, guys. I had to use that or I was losing both of my orcas. These have hard points on them. As you can see, way more missiles that I can fire from those orcas. They're extremely pivotal in a match like this. Two fields of blue Tiberium fully grown, but both of us have been really fixated on this middle map. There's hardly anything really for both of us. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 harvesters. Panic, meanwhile, he's over here. He's got way more than me as far as harvesting goes. He's even leeching his first field as well, so he's got much more economy. I'm going to get my Marv back out. He's going back for his Redeemer as well, I think, or unless he already has it back out. Shadow Team's coming in here for Panic, probably to get the airfield with the orcas on it, but I am losing my orcas. One of them does fall to the Venoms. He's continuing to build these Venoms. Marv comes back out again. I thought, well, because of how good those rockets were last time, let's just put rockets in and a rifle garrison as well. Because, you know, I lost this Marv the last time to infantry. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make this Marv decent against infantry, as well as against aircraft. But the problem is with these rockets, they no longer one-shot kill the Venoms. But I did get one there. And I just don't have the resources either to just spam zone troopers for my Marv. I put another sensor pod on the Marv and I'm pushing in. Redeemer will be out. And these Venoms are being destroyed here. I think Panic was kind of panicking. Did he get my airfield in the end? Yeah, he did. I think I lost my orcas on the deck. And this Marv is pushing through. It does have a rifle inside of it, which is something you rarely see. But the range is pretty bad on the rifle garrison. Shields the obelisk with the hand of Knob, but is forced to sell it anyways because of the Juggernaut shelling it. And I think I'm pretty much Q-moving into his base. Nova not taking that blue tip just yet. Shadow Team's killing my reinforcing zone troopers. That's unfortunate. I think I got that by selling the tier 4 up because that's a quick way of getting some resources. And I'm moving in here. There's no Redeemer. So this Marv's going to go to town. Plenty of Orcas, plenty of Juggernauts, and a Marv here. And all this infantry are going to meet their match against this rifle turret Marv with rockets inside. Let's see how much damage this does. I wasn't paying attention when I played the game, but I knew that this was doing some real damage against infantry. So this Marv, see these health bars here go down. Of course, the Marv will focus fire vehicles first, but when there's no vehicles there, the rifle in the Marv will go to town on this infantry force. There you can see it going down. Even the main gun does pretty sizable splash damage to infantry. But I don't know if it's really worth the hard point. I think the rifle turret on the Marv could be buffed. I was suggesting a range buff. Look, that Shadow Team just got killed by it. Hammerhead reinforcing here, but Panic basically has nothing at this point. He has a hand on Nod there, which again has those glows on it. Just added effects for the Nod faction. And that Hammerhead as well as the Marv will make short work of that. Scorpion tanks trying to make their way in the back, but this hardpoint Orca will stop them in their tracks. Marv still alive, still not in heavy damage mode, does have a sensor pod on it. That's how I was able to detect that rig on the front line as well for repair. And that was the game, guys. pretty back and forth, action-packed game. I really wanted to cast it and also watch it myself because there was a couple of things I wasn't too sure on, like how good were the missiles and the Marv exactly in that match, and I felt like it was good if you put 3 inside against Nod, but you need probably 3 to make it a good investment. The Marv though, with the rifle, I just don't feel like it's good enough with the current range. It's 260 range, the main gun has 350 range, so that's like 34% less range compared to the primary weapon, which is too big of a gap really. I think it should be buffed to about 290 or 300, just make it more, man. It would be interesting to see more garrisons and choices being made by the player to what unit to put in them in the epic units. You don't see scrim players use Ravagers in their epic as well because of just how expensive they are, and the DPS is not very great. Should have kept the anti-air. I remember in patch 1.0 they had anti-air capabilities. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this game. I had a blast playing it and I wanted to cast it. I may have another game as well versus Panic coming up, which I may cast like this. But if you enjoyed this game, then be sure to give me a like, guys. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, hope you all have a great day and everything. And I'll see you all next time.